Back, I'm Gertie Roo, back again and I'm in a mood. Yes, I am in a bit of a mood today, VooTubers, yes I am. On account of the fact that I've been discombobulated, me Bob's been dissed. Yes, it has, and I'm not a happy Gertie, no I'm not. No, I'm a very shirty Gertie today. Yes, I am, VooTubers, and I'll tell you why, because of this bleed entity. Look at him, Viper. Now, I'm going to introduce to you, in case you don't know him, this creature is called Carl Larson. He's a two-bob, two-bit hack, and that's sort of bigging him up. Yeah, so I don't know whether you know, but there's a lot of shenanigans around the VooTubers. Yes, there is. With this slime ball, as it says down there. Thomas Markle exposes Sussex slime, well, and that, but you put slime in front of Carl Larson as well. He's that creature that got in with Mr. Markle, I think it was last year, and he did 3 or 4 podcasts with him. I can remember I had his number when he used to look in the camera, he'd ask him a question, and when Mr. Markle, who's a significantly older guy, and in our age, you know, you respect your elders, especially when the said elder was like a lighting director in Hollywood, you know, and I'm just a two-bob. I can't say what I want to say, but you know what I mean? A two-bob hack, let's be polite. Yeah. And he used to look in the camera and roll his eyes that I'm quite reminiscent. I know what that means. A lot of people do that when they're speaking to your old Gert. I'll have you know. Yes, they do. So, I know what that means, right? So I had his number then. He's an ne'er-do-well. So anyway, let's listen to what happened, because he got on with Popcorn Planet, is American YouTuber, and Stef the Alter Nerd, and I think Paula jumped on as well. You know Paula M? Lovely. I love Paula. And then Sam Markle came as well, but she was in audio only. So should we listen to it together, VooTube? Because your old Gertz, it's a game of pick-up sticks, and I've picked them all apart for you, and I will illuminate you towards the end. Yes, I will give you my thoughts. Here we go. Come on, Cole.
You know, being saying,
yeah, I'm a little frustrated that you're trying to put things out there that I was.
The night before, as you can see, he'd been on the Dan Wooten show. You know Dan Wooten of the Wu-Tang Clan? Him. He works now on the DB News. Yes, he does. And Dan Wooten had compared a sort of backward and forth the night before between Sam and this creature. And whenever people talk about Sam, and it's quite, yeah, I totally do understand that, you know, disability is no reason to, you know, blah-de-blah, etc., but it should still be allowed of the fact that this woman is disabled and in a wheelchair. She's got severe multiple sclerosis. And the stress that they put her through is just disgusting, these creatures. And she comes up, I'm not talking about Dan Wooten, I'm talking about Carl Larson. And we will find out, as this whole terrible saga unfolds, you've guessed it, at the very end, like the big pile of poop that you're not supposed to find at the end of something that would be a rainbow, but isn't a rainbow because it's a shoot bow, let's put it that way. Christopher Boozey. Yes, VooTubers. If it's not Omi Scobies, oh my God, here we go. It's boozed up, pissed up, isn't it? So, let's listen to what happened, because, as I say, this is Popcorn Planet on the left. He's got very fetching. I do love your crown, my dear. I do. And he's talking about the night before interview on the damn Wu-Tang.
Right. DM and Boozey and trying to get
here he is.
Off.
No,
that's all lies.
That's him.
I was trying to get you. You were trying to put an end to my tour, and you know,
bullshit.
I didn't know you were doing the show. I didn't know you were doing your tour. I had no idea that you were doing that tour. That tour was a bad idea, obviously, because of South Park.
Just moved it around.
You know, really nothing to do with you know, my tour, and you know, we should have worked together. You're right. We should have.
Right, this guy is a complete banana. But anyway, let's carry on. Come on.
I don't want anything to do with your tour or work together. Let's clarify and clear the air and everything, because now that you're here, you can.
Right, let's carry on a bit, because it goes on a bit like this.
You're going to get a cease and desist. He said last night you're not his.
Hang on a minute. Let's start.
Here. Now, what kind of friend does something like that when someone's having a stroke? And secondly, how is it that he knew my dad was having a stroke? Was he lurking in the bushes like paparazzi do? So don't tell me that he's a friend of my father's. And I spoke with my father and my brother several times over the last couple of days about this. Excuse my French, but that is total bullshit to suggest that he's a friend of my father. He's not a friend of my father. He's not a friend of our family.
If you go, I think it's on YouTube. Yes, it is. It's on YouTube. I've just noticed. But I actually got it through Google. I just Googled it, the interview, and I got it off because obviously I know this character. I know of this character. I just wanted to check a few facts before I spouted my bleeding gob off on here. So basically, this man is claiming to be Mr. Markle's friend, and I'm telling you now, right, I'm going to put my cards on the table. He is an agent provocateur, right? He is a troublemaker. He is an agent of chaos, and he's put there directly and purposefully. And you've got to remember that this character here, Larson, works for no less than Backgrid. Yes, he does, VooTubers. He was responsible for the photographs of the Markle. Do you remember when they had that polo match? And it was very awkward, and they had to pretend that they'd won the cup with Nacho and Groucho, old Baldy Barry. And he had to hold it above his head, and old Stupid got in underneath, yeah? Well, he took the photographs for that. That's Carl Larson. I mean, he has a way of making people look wunderbar, doesn't he? Mind you, to be honest, she acts like a prat. You can't polish a turd with her, can you? So, yeah, it's not working very well, is it? But he works for Backgrid. Now, I don't care how many times he tries to deny it. Him and Christopher Boozey are in with, they've got this new PR firm, but I think the PR firm is basically her, to be fair. I think that he's been put up to do this because he's come out into the social media claiming to be Mr. Markle's best friend. And he continually refers to himself as Mr. Markle's best friend throughout the interview with Sam, winding her up even more, as you can imagine. And he will not have it that he's not best friends with Mr. Markle, despite the fact Mr. Markle being Samantha Markle's dad, who Samantha Markle has got, unfettered access to and knows every utterance and every thought. And she knows, that he is not her dad's friend at all. It's a bit weird, like weirdos do when you're little. They go, "Oh, get in my car, little girl. Yeah, I know your mum." And you just know that they don't know your mum. You get me, capiche? It's kind of like that, but a sort of adult version. So, yes, should we listen to a bit more? Oh, what have I done? Come on, Gertie Rude. Right.
Go between Megan's camp and our family. If anything,
right,
he's trying to enmesh himself and get an angle in any way he can,
right,
for his own personal gain. So I would say that is predatorial.
Yes, he is.
I would not say that is a friend.
But
you wouldn't
stop
call
doing
it
that.
A remarkable friendship, Samantha?
He's doing it for the shilling, isn't he? He's being paid to do it. If you go over, it's called Popcorn Planet, this lad, and he's paired up with Stef in the middle, the Alternerd, she calls herself, that's her username. And he continually calls himself his best friend. And and even though Sam keeps saying you're not his friend, he doesn't know you, he doesn't want to know you, blah, he still insists that he's really quite creepy about it, very creepy. So then it made me start to think, hang on a minute, there's a lot of noise here, and what I like to do is quieten the noise and just look at what we've got. And basically we've got this man who I think, personally, he works for Backgrid, and who seems to be very well in with Backgrid. Correct me if I'm wrong, it's not rocket science, is it? And who is going to court soon? Who is currently going through the court system with her sister? Do you get me, capiche? And straight on the back of this whole shenanigan and this whole, well, what we do is watch a little bit more of this because it does get meaty. Oh, I can't do this damn thing today.
Exactly.
Remarkable, remarkable or heinous?
Yeah. I think heinous friendship could have been a better title for their YouTube channel. So, Carl, why do you keep going against Samantha? No offense to you. I trust her.
No one would take
more about her father. Why do you keep insisting you're best friend?
Oh, stop. No one would take the amount of dissing that this man sits and takes. Quite rightly, because he deserves every bit of diss he gets. But no one would have sat and took that unless they're getting paid for it. I'm telling you now, no one. And he's definitely an agent provocateur because everything he does tongue in cheek, and he knows he's winding the Markles up even more. Which, to be fair, I think that's his intention. That's his job.
We are best friends. You just heard her say that she didn't deny what you just said. So if you, Samantha,
see,
if you didn't write that book, you could have been invited to the wedding. You know that.
Do you see what he's saying? So he seems to have some undercover information here. Not undercover, he's purporting. If you hadn't written that book that was written well after the bleeding wedding, if you hadn't written that book, you would have been allowed to go to the wedding, which we all know is BS, okay? Us that have been there at the coalface from the beginning of this whole, what is it, domestic bleeding soap opera. I was going to say something else. Shoot show. And he is saying, well, blah, blah, blah. So in his words, he's giving away the fact that there's something underneath about Sam and writing the book. And he seems to know that she would have been invited to the funeral by the Markle had she not written that book. So he's definitely poking the hornet's nest, I would say, is the best sort of way of putting it. Analogy.
Don't try and change the subject, Carl.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will.
I spoke to my dad.
See what I mean about agent provocateur?
You're not my father's best friend, so shut up.
Okay, so tell me who your father's best friend is.
Oh my God, she doesn't have to give you that. Who are you?
So I don't
what do you mean? She doesn't owe that to you.
Yeah, you putz. I'm denying it. You're not my father's best.
Yeah. So anyway, coming on from this, I'll see if I can find it. Here. It's here. Dee dee dee. Dee dee dee. Dee dee dee. There we go. There we have it. Yes. On the back of this, we have Meghan and Harry's team have let it be known. I don't know what's going on with this. Please leave me alone. I hate these things. I just want to read it. Can you stop shoving yourself in my face? Thank you. Do you get that? I blimmin' pop-ups. It's too much overload, isn't it? It's really overload. I just want to focus on one thing. So here we go. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's safety is jeopardised by this celebrity sightseeing tour that I don't reckon... I expect you've all heard about this BS. It's just a false red herring. It's rubbish. It never would have happened. This creature here, I think, has put Cole Larson up to this, because straight on the back of that, they're now claiming that, oh, her dad and Cole Larson were involved. They were going to do a tour and take people around where they go around the place in your Monty Sheet show. Yes, they were. And it's putting them and their family, also known as, aka their children, at great risk, and they need their security, and it's all down to Cole Larson is just a sort of byword in it, right? But basically it's her dad doing it. It's her dad! Yes, it is. And Cole Larson has been trying desperately hard to get Mr. Markle involved with this site. Too hard. To get him to put his name to it, and it's appeared in a few editorials, few publications have spoken about it, that apparently he was in with it, and he has had, because he's done these 4 podcasts that Larson called The Remarkable Friendship, playing on the Markle. It's all a put-up job, and it's all to help this bleeding beige character. Beige is just so much her colour, isn't it? It's all for her court case. I really believe it, and it's all a put-up job. It's smoke and mirrors, isn't it? You know, and all through the interview, where are we? Hang on. All through the interview, he's put the idea is mooted to him that he's in with Christopher Boozey, and he goes to great length to deny that he even knows Christopher Boozey. Again, far too much. The lady doth protest too much, and of course, who is quoted in this article? The problematic listing was an act of targeted harassment, and it jeopardised the safety of the Duke and Duchess's family. Quote, direct quote from Christopher Boozey to the Daily Express, and he's also quoted on the Mail Online. So, but in the interview, if you watch the interview, Popcorn Planet, if you watch the interview, Larson goes to great length to put, again, with a sort of smirky, tongue-in-cheek attitude, that he knows nothing. He doesn't know Christopher Boozey, when we all know they're both taking the shilling for the shilling, from these two creatures. That everything she ever does is so shabby and so see-throughable. It's just ridiculous. And it's very, very unseemly. There's nothing gracious or majestic about this creature at all. It's really, literally, I mean, she could live on the worst sink estate ever. Do you get me? She really could. The way she behaves is so obviously a put-up job. He is being put up, just like he was put up to make friends with Mr. Markle in the first place, to discredit him. He initially he tried to do the same with Thomas Markle Jr., and he seemed to have a handler, some blonde bint, that was in the car with him that doesn't feature much after that. I wouldn't be at all surprised. They're a PR people, and they're trying to cause as much trouble and even the most tenuous link they can possibly find. Flog it like the proverbial dead horse, as long as everybody gets it into their mind that Mr. Markle, Sam Markle, and the brother, Thomas Markle Jr., are all involved in somehow jeopardising these two creatures' security. Yeah? Because in no time at all, Carl Larson's name would just evaporate, and it would just be the Markles, won't it? And the poor old Markles have been stood over here going, listen, we want nothing to do with it. We don't know anything about it. We wouldn't ever promote it. It's not our thing. We don't care. We don't want to know. And Larson would just not have it. He won't get it into his head, right? And that, to me, is because he's being paid. It's a put-up job. He's an agent provocateur, and he's an agent of chaos, and he's there to do what he's doing, to cause as much trouble. And of course, in no time at all, it was coming out into the media, in the what do they call it, the legacy media. So the Mail, the Mirror, the Sun, the Express, da-di-da-di-da-di-da. Online, he's been on Dan Wootton, and it's all hooey. It's a literal nothing burger. Nothing happened. Nobody had a tour. It was something that Larson came up with. And try as he might, he could not get the Markles involved. And he tried really, really hard. I think he even tried giving Thomas Markle a book. And he had this blonde bint with him. So the minute he was seen holding the book, click goes the camera. There we are. Was it her book, Funding Freedom, Finding something or other, or Spare? Something like that. And Thomas Markle Jr. wouldn't take the book because we're all fly to them. They're so, I mean, somebody ring the 1950s and get these two freaks back. We've moved on a lot from those sort of days, and we all know the little games that are played. They're see-throughable as anything, especially in the social media age, my dears. That she just behaves like it's 1970 dot, and we're all dumb as anything and sat at home waiting for Coronation Street and Dad's Army, Just, common as muck. And again, to completely provoke an old man that's had a heart attack and a stroke and barely speak, and also provoke a woman that's got a life-limiting disease, terminal illness such as muscular, whatever is it, what is it? Multiple sclerosis. I was going to say muscular dystrophy. But I've known people with multiple sclerosis, and it's not a pleasant disease. And why they can't just leave the family alone. And I'm talking about these two freaks, as well as their little flying monkeys that they send out into the world. Anyway, go and have a look at it yourself, FoodTube, because I thought I'd give you my slant on it. But it's definitely a put-up job from what I can see. I can see right through you. What is it, the Who? I can see for miles. I can see for miles and miles. And that. And anyway, I know BS is detritus when I see it. Bye-bye now.